Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Wrestling for Life Network. We are rolling again today on this special Sunday Mother's Day edition. LJ, how are you today?
I am doing very good. Having a pretty chill Mother's Day here. I hope you're also having a pretty good day, and everybody out there watching is also having a good day. It's Sunday, whether it's evening, noon, or night, I hope you've had a good day. So,
And let's hope the folks have been putting their little bell on and they know we just popped up because we always do. We are going to bring you the weekly power rankings as we do every Sunday. We take the fan votes from the watch parties and we work them in and we rank the shows. We've had some interesting couple weeks here. So we'll see how this week plays out. We'll give you a little recap. So if you missed any of the shows and you're hearing this, we'll give you a little rundown of how it's going. If you haven't seen the show and you plan to, spoiler alert, we will let you know that's coming. As always, I'm your favorite host, KJ White. And if you didn't know, you should have known. That is Lara Joe. And we are ready to go. So just bring this up for you. But we're on the weekly power rankings. Remember, we do the six shows from the week that we cover. So we don't get into any of the crazy stuff. But Monday to Friday, and the two shows Friday and Thursday, we include Impact as well. So, LJ, anything that you want to touch on first, or just let's get into this?
I think we should just get into it. I am just bringing up the results for myself to refresh my memory. I've watched a little bit of highlights from WWE this week to make sure I wasn't totally clueless. So, but I still don't exactly know what the fans may have voted for it. So, because
Well,
WWE kind of frames their stuff when they put it on YouTube like it's the greatest thing in the world. So,
yeah, right.
hello, Canadian Spidey. I hope you are also having a good day. So,
Good
yeah,
to see you. Thank you for being here
love.
today.
I love when the regular people show up because it's like, yes, our community's growing. Yesterday we
Right?
had a whole like there was earlier in the night there was like I think Nick and Russian Skittle they were having a whole talk and it was so cute. It was
Yeah.
nice. Love
Thomas and
it.
Nick were chatting back and forth about boxing. People are
Yeah.
checking in on each other. People are saying hola. The family is growing. The family is great. And I mean, you look at, just, it might sound like peanuts to some people, but I mean, last night we walk away, and as I look right now,
We had 10 people last night for like the majority of the show. It was awesome. I greatly appreciate that. Like for
yeah,
a ratio, it's usually known on YouTube that only 2% of your actual audience will interact with your content, and
yeah.
that is way above 2%.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, it's crazy, LJ. Like to your point, I mean, we're actually pushing along. We're I think 155, 156, and it's crazy because like last night's show got is 299 views. That Friday night show,
that's
791 views. A half an hour ago, I sent to the group, holy shit, it's at 711. 30 minutes later, it's at 791. That's our Friday night show. That was SmackDown onto itself. That doesn't
that is
even account the 73 we did on Rampage as well on Friday. So, man, it's crazy. It's insane. And the numbers don't exactly add up. But yeah, we're flattered. We're very humble and completely enjoying this ride. So thank you
Yes,
for it.
I love hearing that. I'm so gracious to all the fans that are watching. Like, there's so many wrestling channels on YouTube. I'm very happy that you guys chose ours to be a part of it because I think we're a pretty awesome family here. And we're always talking about something wild. So,
Yeah, it's blowing my mind. And I mean, what is happening? Like, I always go back, right? Because we're always playing with like the hashtags and the SEO and shit. And I'm like, what happened on Friday? Like, it's 791 as we sit here. Um, yeah, it's a good Friday. And last night we had a lot of fun. Ali, of course, was here as well. You went through Under Siege. Her and I walked through the UFC, and it was a great night. And we had a lot of fun. So we keep putting out the content 7 days a week. And with all of that being said, folks, let's get into number 6. Now, I
we
think this
needed.
was unanimous because it got an average of 2 out of 10. So 2 out of 10. Nobody showing love. 2 out of 10 for SmackDown. And we can probably talk about why, but now it's this new thing about the go home shows for WWE being stinkers. Like they're so terrified to screw up the pay-per-view, like nobody can get hurt and we don't want to mess anything up. So we don't know what to do. So the go home shows end up being quite horrible. And this was a great example this week because number 5, it was pretty obvious as well.
Yeah, it's seems like the go home show is a little bit of a tough thing for both companies to do because even Impact, the go home show is sometimes a little too much promo. Like I've said that, like the go home show, me and Chris will be watching and we'll be like, why is there only promos and talking and nothing happening? So it seems like the go home show is always very weird. Like there's a once in a while they'll get it like really right. Any company, this is not just singling one out. All of them seem to have this little bit of an issue. Like they can't really tell how to sell it. Like should
Yep.
we promote it more with talking? Should we just fight and not really mention it? Or then they have the once in a while amazing shows that's like, oh my god, I can't wait for the pay-per-view. So and that's all along all the companies, WWE, AEW, Impact, and like I'm sure I'm not sure about New Japan because they have a fancy way of doing it. Like most of their
That's a whole
they have a
different animal,
fancy way of doing a lot of things over there. So I'm not going to put them in the category. And
right?
yes, thank you, Nick. You are 100% part to thank you, Thomas, Canadian Spidey, and everybody else watching out there that isn't commenting because you guys are still just as important. We appreciate your views. So
Absolutely.
yes. Just pop in to say hi. I have to go in the backgroround, but gotta get up in 6 hours for work. Oof. Dude, get some sleep.
Watch the recording, bro.
Yeah, watch the recording. We'll be here. It's all good.
No, that's awesome, Thomas. Get some rest. Have a safe day at work tomorrow as well.
Yes.
What was more boring, SmackDown or the Rose Esperanza fight last night? Woo, that's a tough one.
I've only heard bad things about that fight. I looked at Twitter for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds. And that is the fight that was the most there that was like, what happened? And I was like, okay, I've done enough now. Thank you very much. And I closed my phone. I was like, yeah, this is we're not gonna get into that. Nope.
LJ, it was a classic. Like it makes like the top 10 list of one of the worst fights on a big card ever. The ladies just didn't want to go. They didn't want to go, and they couldn't find their range. Nothing happened. I think at the end of the 4th round, it was like, 16 strikes to 10. Like what? It was something ridiculous like that.
At that point, like one round of that, and I assume I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna knock her out at this point. If she's not gonna bring her A game, then I will. Like I thought that would be the.
It was bad,
like,
and
if your opponent's not gonna bring their A game, then it's like fine, I'll end it quickly. I thought that's.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with the fight is like somebody had like Rose was funny because she in her post fight was like, I thought I won. We were like, but you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. She was like, that was the plan. Like that was a terrible plan. It was a terrible plan. It sucked.
I understand like a lot of coaches tell them to focus on defense a lot because that is a lot of it. But there's offense in there too.
Well, you gotta do something.
That's how you get the points, and you win by hitting each other.
Yeah, you gotta actually hit each other. Now the snoozer of the week award will have to go to SmackDown though, just because the ladies were nice enough to go home after 25 minutes. SmackDown put us through 2 hours of just the same shadow boxing, nobody doing shit. That was what SmackDown was. So that's how we do this.
I'm looking at the results. We got SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Aaliyah. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler.
That was not bad. The match itself kind of sucked. It wasn't good.
Drew Gulak versus Gunther.
Yeah. Oh my God. What did Drew Gulak do? Did he spill Mr. McMahon's coffee? Did
He probably
he
sneezed.
right? Yeah, like did he sneeze on McMahon?
He
What did
must have.
Drew Gulak do? Because he is just getting mutilated.
Even where I'm reading the just the highlights and the results and stuff, it's a very tiny portion where it's just Gunther one. Gunther one.
That's about it. I mean, really, there's really that's what else you couldn't say anything else. He was just fed to the lions. We also in that sorry, that segment we had the Happy Corbin segment and it Madcap showed up on the screen, didn't even have, didn't even come out to the ring. And then when he did come out to the ring, Corbin just left depressed again. He's back to sad Corbin.
Okay.
We found Butch.
That's good. That's good.
I tried to
Yeah.
let down. Huge letdown, Nick. He found Butch. Yeah, so that's always a positive. Butch was back again. Same old shit. He's turned into a complete dog. It's an interesting sell to a human being. Hey, can you act like a mangy chihuahua for a little bit, please? Can you just run around like you've lost your mind and you've become
Is
a
that
dog?
what they think like Irish people are?
That's
what,
it.
What stereotype is this?
Right?
I'm like, maybe he got it. I'm like, not even Peaky Blinders did that. This is it. They've never been portrayed as growling dogs.
Yep.
There also is a tables match with the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. There's speaking of Butch there. Kofi capitalized, but Butch crawls from under the ring because he's the dog now. Okay.
It's such a weird thing, right? Like he was under the ring. Okay. They were showing pictures of him at like Ibiza and shit. And even was it Pat McAfee was like, was he in these places or was he under the ring the whole time? Because we're like, right?
Thank you. I like that McAfee is saying what we were all thinking. Like, what's happening, guys? And McMahon's like, don't question it.
Right?
Shut up.
Butch is under the ring Photoshop and Instagram post. What is happening?
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That almost had some redeeming qualities to it, but then it ended up just being very flat, very short. Just it was what it was. It didn't.
And then it looks like everything after that was,
Well, wait 1 second. I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
The whole Lacey Evans thing. Like, so she did another one of those stand in front of a screen promos, like she's auditioning, and then the ring announcer gave her this epic hero's welcome, like this, and she came out and flexed, and everybody. It took them a minute, like they were like, okay, and then the way it was kind of being sold, all of a sudden, like people started standing up. So it took them a minute to get there, but then everyone just gave her a standing O, and then she left again.
Yeah, I don't think she knows what's going on either.
Does anybody? I think it's been really uncomfortable for her to just to stand there. It's almost like she was given testimony at her dad's trial. Like she just stood there like, and then he did this, and then
Vince McMahon must 100% be watching too much of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, and he just sees and he's like, look, a blonde woman. And I have one of those. Look, she can act like that.
Shit.
There's a good chance that him, Pritchard, or any other elderly person that's there, I'm not going to assume if they're a man or a woman, but that's a good chance that the elderly that are running the company might think that.
Right. And then, yeah. Oh, you saw it too. There you go.
Yes, Nick, that's the best. Lacey Evans is just a female Cody Rhodes. Right now, that's what the character is. Go back to the Southern Belle. It was at least more. First of all, it was more convincing. She was adorable in the outfits. Her daughter looked adorable in the outfits, and that just sells right there. Like, look at that, mom and baby right there. And like, you can get so much from like her daughter just standing near the barricade and going like, "My mommy's gonna get you." Like
Right.
that's people love that, and she's dressed exactly like her. Like I see no problem, and she was a great Southern Belle. It would work even better because like they like I just don't understand it. She had a perfect character. This is the taking the Tommaso out of Champa. Ah,
Oh, this is taking the beef off my burger.
yes,
Yeah,
and
no, I
replacing
mean,
it with like not even tofu or one of those good burgers that can pass for like something tasty. This is
right?
something that they just put a piece of like plywood between two buns because
Yeah,
it doesn't
no,
make sense.
that's pretty accurate actually. Um, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's crazy times going on in the WWE right now. So I have, and the other thing, going back to Sammy, is we haven't matched Garrett, two really good wrestlers. Another count out. Holy shit, another count out. So the show didn't get any better. The whole thing with Lacey was gratuitous. The Sammy thing was a waste of time with Shinsuke. Shinsuke should be pissed off, but apparently he's not that mad. He'll just be back soon. Um, and then we went into what? The confrontation was the main event, I suppose.
Yeah, the thing I'm just reading the results from SmackDown. It very much seems like it's the ending of it is just getting to the right part. It moved for a sec. There we go. It was about Riddle, Orton, the Bloodline, and ends with Riddle runs in, hits Jey Uso with an RKO. Then Orton rushes back in, hits Jimmy with an RKO. Uh, and it just goes from there. And then Drew's here because they all have all that for Backlash today. None of this it makes much sense. But
No,
what do you think?
no, I mean it was just again, it was just a bit more of the same, and it kind of ended flat, and it was just like, okay, see you on Sunday. So here we go on Sunday. So that's why I mean the fans kind of unanimously like threes and twos, and the crowd wasn't happy. The vote wasn't good for SmackDown this week. So, and if you look at the arrow in the corner, that's 2 weeks in a row sitting in sixth spot. Ouch, ouch. Sorry, Fox. Number
What?
5.
Who's gonna be number 5?
Anybody got a guess at number 5?
I don't. Let's see.
Ready?
No, I don't know yet. You what? Oh, it
Down
was 1 to 5. Jeez.
down 4 spots. The fans hated Raw this week, and the only thing that saved it from being in the bottom was the fact that SmackDown sucked too.
It's
Nick's not
not
happy.
good when that's the reason that they weren't at the bottom.
Yeah, no, they've destroyed Nakamura. It's sad, but yeah, no, they dipped, and we'll go through the highlights to explain why we got to that rating. So I'm just trying to bring up.
Okay, so it starts with a promo package, and then an in-ring promo from the Bloodline, which their entrance takes 10 minutes and 4 commercials, and 2 commercial breaks, 4 per 2 commercial breaks. Yes, and it's just, and then RK Bro comes out and talks, and then Drew comes out and talks, and more footage is played, and then Ezekiel appears. Because they said all the big guys are done, and now we're having an Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens versus the Street Profits, and Ezekiel Jackson. What is that name? I swear, I really think Vince McMahon is like he's there's a certain there he's in the biblical names right now. We got Ezekiel, we got Judgment Day. I don't like Damien Priest is both a priest and a demon. I'm pretty sure he's like on like best biblical names right now.
Mm-hmm. No, you're bang on with that, but I mean the match itself was okay. It was all right, but again, more of the same. Another random 6-man tag. So that moved along, and then where do we go from there? Veer versus Bert Hansen. Veer destroyed another person. Nobody cares.
Who's Bert Hansen?
A jobber.
Okay.
He,
I'm not, but at least Veer won. Still doesn't make sense, but yep. Oh, and then we see recent happenings between AJ Styles and Judgment Day. Yep.
Yep.
Damian Priest versus AJ Styles. Probably, I assume it was good because
That
AJ can usually make any match good.
it wasn't bad. Again, it was another one of those short matches, a predictable ending. At least Priest didn't disappear this time. And at the end of it all, it was flat. It was okay. Like they just went through the motions. Nobody seemed to really give two shits about it. This
Those
should
are
be a little
two
more exciting than what it is.
Yeah, those two people have the ability to have an amazing match. Were they told to be just slices of bread?
Yeah, play it, keep it safe, keep it simple. You got a pay-per-view to do. And the cool part about this was within the aftermath of the match, Finn Balor comes out to help AJ. Now, this was widely talked about. They get in the ring, we hit some two sweets, and the WWE says we are not going to put that on the replay edition of Monday Night Raw, and they cut it out. For those who got the second draft of Monday Night Raw, did not see the too sweet moment. Interesting.
Two things. One, AJ Styles is an amazing worker, and he's like the Miz who rarely gets hurt, so you can do an amazing match before a pay-per-view and he'll be fine. He's AJ Styles.
Yep.
That's my whole reasoning. He's literally exactly like the Miz in that way, where they're amazing fighters and they rarely get hurt, and when they do, just like the Miz, it's like 1 month off and he's back. That's it.
Right.
So I've seen no reason why they had to play it safe for this. And same with Damian Priest. He's very good, and I know he's up and coming, but he could have had just like, I'm sure working with AJ is amazing, and they could have definitely choreographed something that was outstanding. And it's like, oh my god, I can't wait for the pay-per-view. Look at these two people who people really like.
Yeah.
No, let's be two slices of bread and then nothing else.
That's it. Flat. So, and then we got so the it's crazy. Like the bad and the good about the whole thing is, we get that moment and we're happy about it, but the WWE doesn't seem to be too impressed with the idea of reuniting AJ Styles and Finn Balor long term. I don't think, anyway.
Well, yeah, why would they acknowledge other companies outside their own?
Yeah, right. So,
what are you talking about, acknowledging other things and making the fans and the wrestlers happy, and in turn providing a more positive environment for all wrestling fans and giving them even more wrestling because it would all be intertwined? Who wants that?
Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony. Yes.
Ooh.
Very happy everybody's joining us here. Well, let's see what else was on Monday Night Raw. We had 2-on-1 championship contenders match with The Miz, WWE United States Champion Theory. That's a name and a half, I guess. Versus Mustafa Ali. Why was this a 2-on-1?
Weird. I didn't get it. It was stupid. And then
Okay, because Vince McMahon was bored. Okay.
kind of, sort of. And then
Yeah.
it kind of has a weird twist.
Sorry, what?
Kind of has a weird twist because at the end of it all, where there's all these guys it looks like Ali wants the belt, but out of nowhere, for the second week in a row, Ciampa, not Tommaso Ciampa comes out and pancakes Ali for everybody. And we have no idea why. We have no idea why this is going on and how it ties in. Are we going to have a fatal four-way, or is it just two separate beefs? Is like it was Miz and Theory going to fight? No, they seem to be getting along. Like it was just, again, this is why the show is dropped 4 spots this week.
I'm going to take a wild guess from watching WWE and hearing previous things of WWE, just a little pattern. They have 4 guys who are now suggested to be in a feud, whether it's 2-on-2 or 4-on-4. There's 4 guys involved. They will take this and do every single combination 50 times, all the way from can they coexist to tag team partners to one-on-one and one person turns on somebody, and then we'll get to SummerSlam, we'll see it one more time and it'll never be mentioned again.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So
Let's see if I'm wrong. I will replay this part after SummerSlam, and if this weird variety of Ali and Theory and Ciampa and The Miz are not like completely dissolved after SummerSlam, I won't be surprised.
right. So no, I mean we'll see how it plays out, LJ. But I mean the show, we don't need to really talk about the 24/7 title. So rumor is
Yeah.
Nikki Ash is no longer going to be a superhero, thank Christ. And then we got
I'm sure Nikki Ash like had a good idea with her superhero thing. Like she is a nice person and she is pretty like super, like she has positivity all the time in her other in like off camera videos and like
yeah.
off WWE and videos and stuff. So
Mhm.
I can see how it could probably be she pitched a superhero like thing to
Yeah.
Vince and then Vince heard it
Hmm.
and this is what we got.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, it was all her idea," and I was like, "I'm pretty sure." I'm just gonna take a wild guess here and say Vince has a very interesting perception when he creates a character, and when you say superhero, you got that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think she, in theory, and I mean, we've seen a lot of things. I mean, we saw Shane Helms get over as the Hurricane for the
Yes,
same
it's
idea, but
possible, and
it's
she
how,
tried her best.
yeah.
She's trying people, but it's just not the generation for that.
No, I hated it. And almost a superhero as a concept is kind of weird for a superstar. Like
Very.
you look at your the idols as and the superstars in a certain way, and say I'm almost something is kind of not the attitude generally they have, right? So that into itself was flawed, but and then she kept losing. So it's like I'm an inspiration to all these children. Loss, 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 loss.
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't work that way. So be it. Then we got an arm
Well,
wrestling match, LJ. Arm wrestling, good old over the top.
okay. What? Yeah.
And it was awful. It was awful, completely awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
Guess who
Yes.
won the arm wrestling match between Omos and Alan Lashley?
Almost.
You would guess the giant who they've been pushing the shit out of would win the arm wrestling match, or at least cheat or cause is close to losing, like old school style. You're about to lose,
Yeah.
you smack the guy in the face, and then all hell breaks loose. Right? No, you got beat. Lashley beat him
Clean.
clean. It was like a little bit of pushback, and Lashley said, "Not today, Omos," and bang, over. Like it was crazy. It blows my mind that you can just not know any better. Like it is terrible. These comedic writers that they brought in from wherever, they just don't get it. They don't get it. The perception is king.
It just made the giant look so weak.
Hey, listen,
What?
most people lose an arm wrestling match to Lashley, but this is your giant, your beast. So maybe Lashley is about to win, and then MVP hits him with the cane, or again he just punches him in the head, and oh, I was gonna win. Like that, you got to be a heel, right? Like I totally was gonna beat you, but you know what? I'd rather kick your ass. Okay, fine, but no, beat him. So why do we need to see a match? That's you already beat him twice.
I don't know. I would hate to be a writer in that room.
Right.
It's not a job I aspire for. And then it looks like we ended with Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, and Sonya Deville versus Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Women's Raw Champion Bianca Belair. It was a weird pairing.
It's a lot. It was okay. It was probably a
But
reason why it like this match kind of was probably the slightest reason why some people went like 4. on the rating, right? Like kind of pushed it up. It could have easily been in the basement, but this moment and a couple things earlier, but yeah, it
This
wasn't great.
it doesn't make sense. None of this storyline makes sense. Asuka just came back, yes. So she's like top game. Why don't you give her the main event to show off how awesome she is that she just came back?
Yes.
Don't make it for the
No.
title, but have it for Bianca Belair, and don't have it for the title. But you can show, and Bianca can still win, but you can show how Asuka is amazing, or just have her win against somebody who doesn't have the title. Like, I don't, what's the point? Why is Rhea Ripley here? She should be with Judgment Day.
LJ though, LJ, the crazy part was they put all the shine on Liv again. Like for randomly, it was just all about Liv, and even when we were going off the air, it was like Liv was front and center. It was crazy. She got all the rubs.
I get that. Okay, I can do this. Come on, brain. Come on. Okay, so, oh, I'm really trying here. It just doesn't make any sense. Nothing I'm reading right now makes any sense as to why Liv Morgan would be the front and center of everything. Rhea Ripley needs to go to the thing. Becky Lynch is doing other shit. Why is she here? Yeah, she just got out of a feud. Why is she in this one? Sonya Deville, you don't need to be here. Asuka, this should be your night. Liv, you're great. Maybe you and Asuka should have had this as the night. And Bianca, I just sit down, please.
Right?
She's been great, but they're overdue using her.
And she's smiling too much. Vince is more focused on profits instead of the happiness of the fans and his wrestlers. This is what happens when you become publicly traded as a wrestling company. Yeah, it's interesting. It really is because, yeah, it's because it doesn't matter. They're printing money, so it really doesn't matter how much we piss and moan and whine and show up on streams. And there's like another dozen streams out there that, or at least that are all saying the same shit about how bad it is. And Vince is in his office just giggling, lighting cigars with, $100 bills, doesn't give a shit about nothing. So that was raw. I had enough. It's put me in a bad mood.
Jeez, just okay. Well, it's not good. Just like, there was there we go. Nick said it. The WWE's two top shows in the go home week for a premium rematch event are competing for the bottom spot. Yes. Literally, that's how bad it was. And I know, like, Impact can be very boring sometimes when it comes to a go home show, but they do try to throw in some wrestling. They try. They're like, yes, we understand we're shoving just promotion down your throat, but look at this. At least you can watch these guys fight. Usually there's like a street fight or a no disqualification match on that day that has nothing to do with the pay-per-view, or at least it's a secondary story to it that like people can at least watch and be like, okay, this is good though.
Right?
Yes, hello, Boss Monster.
Yeah, good evening, Nick. Love for the family again, like we were talking about. They are dangerously just in the middle of the road of the fans who still support them. I mean, if this thing keeps growing, you think how big the Forbidden Door pay-per-view is going to be, and we will be live to cover it. It's going to be a huge night for wrestling. There's going to be so much going on. And again, we talk about it. Like when you compare AEW to WWE, you're like, wow, that's a giant against, an upstart. But then you go, well, it's WWE versus all of this wrestling.
Yeah, it's not. It may be, if you look at it in a very tiny perspective, yes, it is one giant versus a smaller one. But in a bigger one, like you said, it's a giant versus a bunch of smaller ones. And, Stardom is still in talks with AEW. So, the women might be on there too, and they might be fighting some Stardom people. Come on. I'd be very happy. Love the Joshi wrestling.
All right, the multiverse of wrestling for life.
For
life. All right, number 4. You ready?
Yes.
Boom. A little bit of a surprise, but four for the second week in a row. Because they've been mailing it in.
Yeah.
They've been mailing it in, AJ, on Fridays. And they've given us some like all right cards, but it's like we've seen it. Like nothing like you're like, Rampage this week was very much And when we were together
Mhm.
for Rampage, and it was just, the vote was like 4 or 5, right? Like, the fans weren't quite feeling it. It was just like, here you go.
Well, the first match we watched was Ruby Match and Ruby Soho and Tony Storm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, and I was much more shocked that Britt Baker took the pin than anything in this match.
Yeah, crazy.
Um, I appreciate Hookhausen after it, but I get it can be kind of annoying to some people.
Yeah,
I
I
get
mean,
it.
the Hook's still on a roll. Yeah, I don't know. Some people don't like it. Again, you're not supposed to like everything. And for the serious wrestling fans, I get where you see that and you're like, this is dumb. But if you go back 10 years, there were those stupid gimmicks just in the middle of you'd have Austin or The Rock and the guys who were serious, Triple H, all fighting and arguing. But then you'd have like I said earlier, a hurricane segment or, at the
A
time,
blue meanie.
yeah, right. You had your side shows, so don't completely hate on it. We'll see where it goes. I want to see Danhausen wrestle.
I do too, and I think it would be great. I think they will wrestle, and I would love a tag team. And yes, the next match was the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament qualifier with Rio and Yuka Sakazaki, and this was the match that kind of
Say that
brought down the
again.
show.
Say that again.
Riho versus Yuka Sakazaki.
I believe you. I was just it came out so fast. It was like I don't know. I don't know much about her. I didn't care for this match at all. I don't think many
I
did.
understand. It's for people who like Joshi wrestling because both of them are very known for Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
So, but people,
They
yeah, didn't really like that. And the next one was
it went forever,
Ajustan.
LJ.
It did. It did.
But just
It
quickly, Nathan, we are covering Backlash tonight, of course. We're all here for all the pay-per-views. If you haven't checked out, we even did UFC last night as well. And then, yeah, shortly after we come off the air with the power rankings, we will be back for WrestleMania Backlash. Full coverage, full reaction. Tune in. Tell all your friends. Get 10 of your friends to subscribe. Show us that you did it. We'll send you a t-shirt.
Yes,
Ding.
exactly.
All right, back to you, LJ.
After that, we had a weird Dan Lambert thing, and then Jungle Boy was there talking to Ricky Starks, and yeah, it wasn't the best show,
No. You just got
and
through it in 4 minutes.
to end it, it was
Oh,
Kanosuke Takashita versus Jay Lethal.
that match was okay. It
I'm
was
so sorry
okay.
if I butchered that name. I'm
I'm
trying.
not even attempting it, so I kind of left you high and dry on that one. But
That's fine. I can. I'm good. I can get it. We're good.
yeah, the match wasn't bad. Some back and forth. It was okay. The whole night was nah. All right. It felt
I
melded.
was happy that they put two women's matches on the card and they were not both squash matches, so I appreciate that. But I know that the type of matches were not up to everybody's standards. Like you gotta like Japanese wrestling to like that's it. So
A little bit, and I mean it's a bit of a niche kind of approach, but Um, yeah, it was a flat night. It's kind of been the theme of this ranking so far, and that's where you see kind of how the numbers shifted out. But Rampage 2 weeks in a row, stick in fourth. Not bad, no, not terrible, but not great. So let's hope they pick it up a little here, especially with Double or Nothing on the horizon.
yes, I'm sure they will. Sometimes their shows just got to be a little slow.
Right? A little bit, a little bit. So let's I guess that's all we got. That's how Rampage was, just in and out. Number 3. Boom. Up 2 spots from 5.
And this was Spring Breakin'.
Spring Breakin'. Yes.
Yes.
So Spring Breakin' was and again, it's a bit of a surprise to see NXT 2.0 up in number 3 and people who are haters and haven't really paid attention to it. But I've seen every single episode of NXT since I actually almost covered I think 95% of them. So it's crazy to think that. But yeah, I mean, the thing that NXT did that the other shows didn't was it was just chaos. But it was something was happening. Some of it was stupid, but it was there's a beat to that show. You're like you're AD. It's really geared to those of us who have a bit of ADD, and you're just kind of like you're in there. You're oh, shit's happening. You
Mhm.
don't look away. So you can love or hate the show, but it's busy.
Was it at all impacted after where wait, the releases happened after Tuesday. So
Well, we're going to talk about that because I want your opinion on something release related as we go through this review here real quick. But
cool.
as soon as I find the actual thing I'm looking for,
Yeah, I did hear some good reviews about Spring Breakin'. And it looks like the first match up was the triple threat for the NXT North American title. Carmelo Hayes versus Solo Sikoa versus
Mhm.
Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes.
Yes, and this
Woo.
match was good. It was quick, fast paced. Solo's talented. I thought Solo was going to win it. They had us convinced Solo was going to win it. It was a good match through and through, LJ. It was good energy, like we said. It really did start the night off on a good foot, and they weren't messing around. It's not like Raw. It wasn't like SmackDown. They got at it. And all three, I mean, I think Carmelo's really talented. He's got a bright future if they don't screw it up.
Yes, I agree. What in the world? I'm trying to read what happened after the fight, and this is the sentence I have. Um, what's going on? Tag team champions Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are waiting, but they're shocked when they see her. Rose says she only put the bed on for 10 minutes. So is that like tanning
Oh,
bed?
yes. So Wendy Chu
Okay.
Wendy Chu sneaks into Mandy Rose's tan session. Now, the interesting part about this was, you know, the WWE's up in the needle. So they get Mandy Rose in a very small yellow bikini in a tanning room, slow motion from knees to you know where they're going. And actually took the time to point out that she was putting a Playboy bunny sticker on her hip for the tan. And I thought that was a little, did you not find that a little bit interesting for, you know, the very holy WWE?
I have a few things on that. One,
Yes.
no. I'm just gonna as women's kind, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Two, there's currently a interesting Me Too scandal going on since Mr. Hugh Hefner died, and let's just say the bunny isn't really associated with good things anymore.
Not nearly as much.
And three, she was probably asked by her boss to do that. And again, is Vince Russo running HR?
Right. Yeah, I
Because this
don't.
is a violation.
Well, I mean, they're going to push the envelope where they can. And at the end of the day, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
God can undo the top rope, but also look at Mandy Rose boobs.
well, that's the spin, right? And that's been the conversation for 2 weeks now about the fact that Vince and Bruce took over NXT, and all of a sudden the dynamic changed.
Dress sexier. Where's the Playboy bunnies? Okay, if this is not a toxic environment, I'm sorry to tell you, but we're not in the 50s, guys. You can't do that. You can't do that. We need I want him to tell Jade Cargill to dress sexier and just see what happens. Just give
Well,
her
did you see what
10
she was wearing the
minutes.
other day? Oh my god.
Well, yes, but I mean, just like, can we
That
get all
girl.
the strongest women and just give them 10 minutes with Vince and Pritchard and we won't say anything and let's put them in Playboy bunny outfits.
Well, Bruce would probably be okay with that. But the point, Wendy Chu sneaks in, does the old, turn up the heat. Um, Mandy comes out, and Gigi and the other one were like, "Oh my god," because now she looks like a lobster. That was
And
part
just
one of the shenanigans.
and just like Vince is usually, this is something that happened in 2000s movies about 20 years ago. He is 20 years behind of everything.
Amen. And it gets funnier with those ones because, well, we can skip through it and we can talk about it chronologically, but we weren't done with Wendy Chu, who now between her and Roxy, they look like Dora the Explorer, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. Roxy looks like Dora, and Wendy, she was wearing like fluffy pajamas, so she looked, like Boots. Is it Boots?
Yep.
Okay, good guess.
Yep.
Um, It's bad. It's bad, LJ.
They took Roxy and now she's Dora.
Yeah. So, what?
I wonder if that's how she picked her, leaving what was it, Ring of Honor? Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave Ring of Honor as Roxy. And I am Dora the Explorer now.
Well, it's interesting because she probably could have went to somewhere like Impact and stayed Roxy and
Yes.
been in the mix.
Yes.
That's my
Impact
opinion.
doesn't want to change you. They just want to have you fight with them. That's it.
That's true.
If they wanted to
Uh,
change something, they wouldn't have let a casino be a whole thing for months on end on the show.
right?
They let you do what you want.
Yes. So then we got Grayson Waller and Nathan Frazier. It was all right, not bad. Back and forth, athletic, fast paced, a lot of false finishes. Nathan got the win. Nathan upsets Waller in his debut. Crowd popped for it, or the fake crowd popped for it. By the way, SmackDown, Raw, and WWE, you got to talk to your guy. If you're going to pump in crowd sounds, get them just to play with the levels a little so it sounds somewhat, organic, and that it flows where like people breathe sometimes. When it's just constant, like,
Nobody breathes. They only shout good things. Why
right?
do people? This is the problem with fans. They have to breathe in between.
I think you would have liked the next part of NXT because we had a little movie scene. I do believe. So Santos Escobar and the boys meet up with Tony at a restaurant, and they have a coming together. They have a meeting of the bosses, and they kind of call this weird, awkward truce, which nobody at all believes in. And
No.
then Santos at some point they're going out to the cars, and Tony and his new friend AJ all high five each other, and they're like, "Later, AJ," and AJ just goes walking to his car by himself in a dark parking lot. And what happens? He got kidnapped by Escobar and crew. What are the odds? But who does that? You guys got beef all night, and you just let your friend walk to the car by themselves. Bye. Later. Check you later.
What?
Right? It's funny. The thing about NXT
Okay.
2.0 is the fact that these wrestlers won't be going anywhere while Vince is in charge. They will go to the big show and just be mediocre. Yeah, it's just cookie cutter. It's just rinse and repeat. Kidnapped
But
in
they'll
broad daylight.
lose
It was
half.
dark. It was dark. It was
They
close.
they will lose half of their name, and that's it.
The one name thing is blowing my mind. I can't. I'm still struggling to understand what is happening.
I agree with you that somebody is having a little bit of some elderly issues and can only remember one word at a time.
Yeah, I honestly think they might be doing it for Vince because they got to give him cue cards of like Braun, Champa,
Theory.
yeah,
Yeah.
Riddle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm worried.
There's a good
Um,
chance that you're correct. The man is in his 80s. And
it's yeah.
next we had Natalia Lash Legend versus Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons, and there has been nonstop talk about Nikita Lyons. Even Allie was like, "Yes, she is the future of NXT Women's Division."
Yeah, no, she's a star. She's a star. But she did stop doing her whole splits drop on people. She's kind of got a new finisher. So maybe some people said, listen, it's a little too provocative for you to be dropping your midsection down like that. So I don't
Switch
know.
over to AEW. Sunny Kiss is doing the same move.
Right? Maybe that's what it is. I have no
I
idea, but
love it.
they yanked that from her. But she's outstanding. This match sucked, but she's really good.
I personally love that move because it shows that you can be flexible and cause pain at the same time. It's kind of like you're showing off, like, I'm gonna hit you with my leg and look good while doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it, like, oh, it's supposed to be sexy and stuff, but it's like, obviously the girl doing it, they wouldn't pick that move if it wasn't the good one. Like, even Julia Hart has that move in her moveset. Like, it's just to show off, like, she's a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
But,
the whole
yeah,
good
no,
thing,
you can't do the splits, but you better have that Playboy bunny.
right? Funny. No, but I mean, she's got a great look. She's not your typical, swimsuit model type, and that makes her even more appealing, I think. And it's she's athletic and she can go. And I know I said this match sucked. The match wasn't bad, and the fans seem to like it. She gets over. The crowd's all happy, and then we moved on. But the whole kidnapping thing with the video crew is hilarious. But the good news is, based on where they keep Rick Steiner, they keep their captives just in the backstage area. So I'm sure we'll find AJ very soon.
Yes.
And this is an angle to bring in his dad. Boom, boom, boom. Viking Raiders Creed brothers. And guess what happened?
It's the Creed Brothers one, but I'd not see it. Looks. Oh, gee, what happened? What happened?
It was a straightforward match, good match. I believe the Viking Raiders in this match reminded a lot of people they really can wrestle. They really can do it. They just aren't allowed, and they don't get to. So they're talented. This was a good back and forth, but I think
like
we all
that.
knew the
That is
Viking Raiders
put
were going
it.
under.
They can wrestle. They're just not allowed.
Right? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Go bowling.
Yeah, go. But what are you doing wrestling out there? This is not. It's go bowling.
So yeah, no, I mean there wasn't much to know, but the Creed brothers are getting a push. They're getting some love. They're talented. I'm not sold completely on them yet, but they're good. They're definitely solid, and they did a couple tandem offense moves that I hadn't seen before. So kudos to them on that. I feel bad for the Viking Raiders. They literally are being paid to clean the floor of every arena they're in, and it is upsetting for everybody.
I don't think I've seen a match where like they've actually had a good anything. Like, so yes, they will win, but the match is never that good. They don't get a chance to show off very much. Like, just they're underutilized.
Yes. Now we can talk about the main event, and the main event is an interesting thing here, and maybe this is an example of doing the unbelievable stuff is cute to a point. We already had a kidnapping in this show, and fine, I'll go with you. I'll stretch my imagination that these two are legit badasses, and there's some turf war going on, and there was a kidnapping. Fine, screw it. But this show, we get the main event. Funny enough, out of all the matches we got, and the matches were great this week. All like I said, the ladies' match wasn't great, but not bad. The rest of them were solid. Like, it was a lot of energy through a lot of these matches, and the main event got very little time. Maybe because of who was in it.
Maybe because it was Joe Gacy versus Braun Breaker, and the notes I have here is that Braun Breaker makes his way to the ring, and Vic says he's wearing the first slinglet worn on Raw years ago by his father.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
cool.
nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Their highlights of the past 2 years of the Viking Raiders is eating on turkey leg and fighting a ninja and jumping dumpsters with the Street Profits. Yeah, it's horrific.
Ironically, I remember them eating a turkey leg, and I remember them fighting ninjas. I don't remember them doing anything else.
Yeah, I remember the Billy Madison competition they did
Yes.
with the Street Profits, and that's about it.
Yes.
So,
And
but
of course, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that, like, of course, Mr. Braunbreaker won because he's
Yes,
Braunbreaker.
he was going to, but the night ends in a way that I don't recall. Now, someone out there can correct me if I'm wrong. I see people tuning in, and if you can think of an example, just like this was, the match ends.
Yeah.
And then there's two druids, so to speak.
Yeah, it's two druids, disciples, followers, two people.
Yeah, like stonemasons or stone cutters. We do.
Yeah, the stone cutters. Exactly. Two
But
stone cutters appear. Yes.
and then they end up on the apron, and the show ended. We don't know. It just ended. Done. Same back
Please
time,
don't tell me
same
that,
back
like,
channel.
I'm just worried. Like, what is Vince McMahon watching? Why are we getting masks and hoods involved now? We're not playing Eyes Wide Shut, sir.
Oh wow. But
Oh, I know all the Kubrick movies.
that's awesome. Do you recall many wrestling shows ending with it's like the scene isn't complete? Like we see it if the druids came in and beat him up and then we go off the air, or if they kidnap him and we go off the air. There's always usually some type of finality, like next chapter type of feel to the end of an episode. They just appeared and Braun was there and they're looking at each other and we're gone. We're gone.
Yeah, he did not watch Pentaverant because Mr. Vince McMahon is 20 years behind of all the content, and Pentaverant just came out. Mr. Mike Myers, Canadian. Yes. Yeah. It's so funny. It's just Canadians making fun of conspiracies, and I love it.
Right.
As a fan of conspiracies and Canadians, it's fantastic.
Ooh. Juicy, juicy. Bailey, how are you?
Yeah. I like what Boss Monster said here. I hope they watch the singlet.
Probably not.
Taker had druids, but never ended like a soap opera. Gives it 2 weeks since Rick Steiner will be under a hood and revealed, "It was me, Braun. It was me all along." Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah. No, there's no doubt. Either it'll be someone from his family or they'll disappear in a month.
Scotty.
Yeah, there we go.
You had a 33 point whatever % chance trying to figure out who I was, but you never did.
Exactly. But you never got it.
How Go ahead.
How is Vince 20 years behind? Vince already stated that he isn't doing this for his liking, his business only. Oh, because all of his trends are 20 years behind. Like the tanning joke with Mandy Rose is something that happened in the 2000s movies. Like I can specifically remember Bride Wars doing that with Anne Hathaway, and so like I don't like it's a good joke for the time, and it just seems to be a pattern I've picked up that every time a new thing or a new joke is introduced, it's good 20 years behind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean I guess what the thought is if you're in charge of the creative or the product that's being viewed, and a lot of your storylines or concepts seem dated, and I think that's the perception. Now, Vince can say whatever he wants. I'm not doing this for that or this, but you kind of are in the entertainment business, and at some point, it's got to go the other way. I really think it would be a struggle to continually turn people off. Want to know when Vince is lying? Whenever he's talking.
Like I can picture Riddle flossing and doing Fortnite dances in a good 10 years. Give it to 2030 and Riddle will be doing Fortnite dances, because why would they pick up on Fortnite anywhere near the time it's relevant?
Right. All right. Number two on the list. I already spoiled it, but a big surprise, up 2 spots.
Yes.
LJ, what happened? I mean, a lot of fans, 7/8. We're happy.
We had a Monsters Ball match here on Impact, and you just can't. I don't know what else to say. A Monsters Ball match is amazing, and you and Chris both took over for me that night because I
Yeah,
was not feeling good. But I have the best family in the world here on Wrestling News, so I'm happy
nice.
and very thankful for
Mhm.
my fam.
Uh, Giving me the feels. But yeah, no, we had fun doing this show, and you missed a good one. I mean, um,
Yes.
what sold it for me as like right away, I was like, this show is going to get good marks for me. Was the whole Jordan Grace comes out to help Morrissey as he's taking on Cardona in the tables match, and
Yeah.
she sets him up on her shoulders, and Morrissey gives him the big boot through the table. What a wicked finisher! She's a beast, and she's been stalking this man. I really think
Yes.
she's going to take the belt back.
I
And
think so. She wants her digital media title back.
yeah, she relentless, and she's not messing around. She had that big man up on her shoulders, no problem, and he got booted right back off. I thought it was wicked.
Uh, oh, sorry. It's not funny to us, but we also have to think about the kids. WWE is for kids. It's written all over their product. Well, then why don't they go for more relevant kids jokes instead of 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, listen. Well, here's the thing. That's the catch 22. So if it's for kids, you're starting to up the sexiness again. It's
Yeah, again,
counterintuitive.
if it's for kids, why are we doing all the sexy stuff?
Right? So what kids are we competing to? The thing with wrestling at in its heyday, in any of the territories, any of the nationally televised stuff through the 80s and 90s, when it was in its heyday and doing its best, it was adult stories. It was adult men, adult women acting like adults. That's why nobody blinked an eye when there used to be some of the gratuitous sexuality in it because it was for adults, right? You had Val Venus, a porn star, and people trying to chop off his, little buddy because of his indiscretions. That was adult. I mean, we had Edge and Lita in the ring on a bed. Um, yeah,
It was meant for adults, so that's why
yeah.
it wasn't like and now they're just trying to frame it as it's for kids, but still have the same content, and it's like, but what are you what?
You can't though. You walk a very thin line, and it's really challenging. So unless you change the people that you're doing business with, it's a real slippery slope for them. And I understand as long as they're making money, they're content. And Vince really doesn't give a care. But at the end of the day, yeah, like you said, you can't say we're this way and counterintuitive to it and then go, okay, no, we're trying to cater it. Pick your lane, run in it, but now you've kind of hemmed yourself in. AEW, that's what they're trying to do is hone it in a little better. They touch on more of a demographic, but again, you want to bring in a wide range of audience and you want it to grow.
I just love that the WWE has uh,
Right?
a Miss Alexa Bliss, and she is at the moment a mentally ill person with a voodoo doll.
Right?
And then you just flip over to the other side of the coin, and we got Mandy Rose being spray
Yeah.
tanned in a bikini with a
Mhm.
Playboy Bunny sticker. I don't know how those two work very well, considering one of them is literally in a playground. Uh, and the other one,
Oh,
very adult. Weirdly enough, I think they sell more wrestling toys to adults than to kids.
it's
Probably.
true.
We're all children.
But
Basically, when it comes to toys, we're kids. Yeah.
But that's how it works, right? The older folks in your family are watching wrestling, and so they buy their kids all like you buy your kids kind of the things you like sometimes, and don't act like any of the parents out there haven't done that. Like, oh shit, that toy looks cool. I want to play with the kids getting it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you were exposed to it, and then like at a certain age, you were watching it, but you kind of weren't supposed to. Like there was certain things that weren't great about it. But
Which is
yeah, there was a level of excitement about that, and it was guys were bleeding, and there was battles and
yes. And
crazy.
that's like that. And right now is the perfect time. Your audience is if you want to go adult, they're still gonna buy your toys. Look at AEW. Look, I'm an
Mhm.
adult and I got so much AEW stuff. Like
Right?
just market it to us.
We're just
Kids
big
can't
kids.
buy your stuff,
Mhm.
so they have to convince somebody to get you their stuff. So
Right. Um, Then we got Ace Austin against Ricky Romero. Ace took it, building his way towards what we saw at Under Siege. So Ace is on a roll. He's doing well. Then what do we get? Masha comes out and just smashes another person.
Yeah, because she's Masha. That's why.
He's doing
Yep.
well. Willie
And then
Mack,
we
Bullet
yes.
Club had a precursor. Bullet Club got the win heading into their battle. The match was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Good action, good fast pace.
And then one epic main event here with Ishii and Steve Macklin.
Yeah, that was one of the things that got the show over. That was a hell of a match.
Yes. I don't even like it was he did not make it easy for Ishii.
Yeah.
And Ishii didn't make it easy for Macklin, so I'm very happy about this. And like you said when we watched it, the like Ishii did he's usually a very calculated person, and in this one he was actually absolutely wild. So
Yeah. But the pace. I think Macklin's really talented. I think he's underrated. I think he's coming into his own. I think it was back and forth, and then to go from that into a monsters ball, which we haven't seen in a long time, and we've had two monsters. The PCO and Impact has been fun.
yes. It has been very fun. I love a Monsters Ball match. Loved it since Abyss was there. And I'm just very happy with that.
Yeah.
Trying to look at the comments right now. CJ, that's a bit of the point growing up in the Attitude Era. It meant for adults and kids to feel like they are sneaking one on their parents. It like draws you in. You're watching what you shouldn't. But wasn't it the programming still come up as like mature audiences or something? It's not X-rated, it's on cable TV, so they can only go so far. Even look at ECW, was still not worse than a chunk of online videos today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't compare anything to internet videos because that's hell. You can't do that. The internet is the door to hell. So
That's right. But the internet's the door to hell.
I don't know what else. I like the internet. You shouldn't stop going on the internet, but there's some doors on it that are fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I would say a little bit. It's not X-rated. It's on cable. Yeah, it's not X-rated. I mean, you're looking at something. You're not looking at GCW with that. I mean, at times you kind of are, but it's tamer than that. Let's not get crazy on it. But with that being said, because we do have another show coming up tonight, and we've been rolling here. So number
Yes, we
one
gotta
on the
finish this
list.
and then. Oh, I was gonna say we gotta get to our last one and then we have to, eat some food and get ready for Backlash.
That's it, right? So back in number one spot, up one spot, dropped to number two last week. Still at about the same rating, 7, 8. But as you can see, a lot of the other shows kind of sucked this week. It helped. It made it a little easier. So Dynamite takes number one spot, LJ.
Yes, because Jeff Hardy won. And he's Jeff
That
Hardy.
was it. Number one right away.
Jeff Hardy. Thumbs up.
There
He's
you go,
facing Darby Allin, and I cannot. My brain is so happy. I love it. Yeah, I know Bobby Fish is great too, but yeah, Jeff Hardy.
Right? Abyss. What? What happened? I'm confused.
When the hell did Abyss sign to WWE? What the fuck? Oh, he's been a backstage producer
Yeah, for a
for a
while.
while.
I didn't know how we got to that.
No idea.
Yeah, no, Hardy gets the win over our buddy Fish. Yeah, not much more to say about that. It was a big win. Jeff's gonna face Darby Allin. That blows my mind.
Darby just he's got Daddy Sting and Jeff and Punk and Matt and everybody, and it's just a whole face paint family.
The face paint family.
So happy. I love that the creepiest looking people, or at least the face painted ones, usually the baby faces, aside from Malachi Black, everybody else is pretty good. Like Sting looks like he's gonna be the villain. He's in all black and white and a baseball bat, but he's the nicest person.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. I like it.
He is quite nice. But speaking of family, We went on to the Blackpool Combat Club against Butcher Blade, and who else was in that match?
Angelico.
Angelico. You almost forget
Yes,
about Angelico.
he is
So
not being extorted in Mexico.
he's
So
back.
that's his friend.
That's his
So
friend.
yeah. And this was also part of the very wonderful promo that William Regal had at the beginning, that little video package where it was like very hinting at there might be a woman wrestler joining the club, because he was
Yeah,
like, he was very much, wrestlers are a different breed of people, and
that
he
video pack
specifically
was
said
crazy.
people, and was like, you are too weak to even conceive what and think about what these people have done in the ring, like, and he kept saying people, so I really, really hope
Yeah.
that some girls are joining.
Yeah, we did talk about that, and we see now we're hinting at Julia Hart joining the House of Black. So there's definitely something to that theory, and we'll see what happens as they try and put this all together. But yeah, it looks like they're definitely hinting at it.
Because technically that's just his face. Dan,
Yeah,
that's
no,
just Danhausen. Like, Sting had to go through multiple like face paints to get to this one, and Jeff Hardy does that too. And Matt doesn't always have his face painted; very rarely now. Darby has his face half painted, and CM Punk does it sometimes. Danhausen, I'm just convinced that's his face. Just his face.
that's how it's supposed to be. Should
I
have a
would
match.
not know what he looks like without it. So
That's a good point too. Where did we go from there, LJ?
We went to Wardlow versus MJF's mystery opponent, which turned out to be
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Big Cat.
Morrissey, right?
Again, speak of the devil,
Yes.
a guy that we saw on Thursday as well. So, yeah, he kind of had to do a low five with MJF. They didn't seem to like each other, so it was just a money thing. Oh, and just in case we didn't say it, but the Blackpool club, combat club, just pounded the shit out of
They
everybody, as
won.
they always do. So we didn't need to explain that. But yeah, no, Wardlow takes on Morrissey and kicks the living shit out of him. That was about it. Looks like a beast, and lit this guy up, and it was a good match. They're
It
athletic, they
was.
were fast, fans liked it, popped. That was it
It
though.
it was a big beefy boy match, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So I'm happy. And then Wardlow didn't want to be handcuffed again, so that
Mhm.
storyline's progressing.
Yes.
And then we got Chris Jericho versus Santana. This has been like bubbling for a while.
One thing before that, just before we got that, just real quick, this will take 2 seconds. Adam Page, I think, delivered the best promo he's ever done
Yes.
for the company. He had a little heel tip touch to it. It was really good. It was dynamic. It was deep. It was good. But yes, then we got Chris Jericho and Santana or Ortiz.
Yes. It was Santana.
Yes, it was Santana.
Yes. And Chris Jericho did win, but you know how that happens, because everybody's gotta get involved, and 2.0 got involved and got Aubrey's attention, but that's okay. I'm sure Santana and Ortiz will definitely get their revenge.
Yes. Eventually, we're waiting. I don't know what's happening. Like, let's go. How much? I don't know if it's just because it's Jericho having a hand in the creative, and he thinks this is great, this is clever, guys, and you can almost hear his voice, like, yeah, no, this is perfect. And I think they're just dragging it out a little too long. I think they've taken a lot of heat off Eddie Kingston because of this storyline. The match was average, not bad.
I
The
mean,
ending
he
was
did. Eddie did call in on
that was
Rampage
wicked. That was
to yell,
wicked.
to which Jericho said, "Is that Eddie?"
Right?
Jericho.
Is that Eddie calling me? I thought it was excellent. Yes. Were you not listening?
You were not. Yeah, he was not. Yeah, Dynamite felt more like a go home show than Raw or SmackDown did.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Um,
Then we went
and
on to what?
the there was some stalking of Julia Hart from the
This was
House of
weird.
Black,
This was
and then the
weird.
Death Triangle was there. But
Yeah.
the Death Triangle leaded into match number 5 of the Owen Hart Foundation match qualifier
Yes.
thing of Ray Phoenix versus Dante Martin. And unfortunately, Dante, pretty sure he is the one that got in the car accident, so I hope he's
Yeah.
healing up.
Yes. But yeah, the whole Julia Hart thing was weird. Julia Hart, we've been dragging this out. Finally, looks like they're going to turn her. The crowd's cheering. She goes to hit Blondie and Chicken's out. The crowd booed her for not turning.
Yeah,
Booed
because
her.
we want it, but I mean, we should have seen it coming. AEW does the longest storylines ever.
Yeah, sometimes. And then they did this weird thing. I didn't like it. It was this uncomfortable moment where all three men kind of gathered around her and were berating her. And I thought, it's a bit much. A little bit aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think
Thunder
we're doing this?
Rosa talked about Double or Nothing because, Deeb is going to fight her there. And we went into the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Miss Champ Deonna Purrazzo
Crazy.
losing her title to Mercedes Martinez.
A crazy match, LJ.
She's Mrs. Impact. I was so happy that she appeared and she's the champ.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I don't understand the booking.
It's I guess, like I said, I theorized it might have something to do with Deonna taking a bit of time off here. Taking a bit of time off and stepping away because I mean she's held the belts and she's had a really good run. She's getting married, blah blah blah, and so maybe that's part of this. I'm just theorizing because there's no other reason to take all the belts away from her. Mercedes is a great champion, a great leader in that division. So I like her now with holding on to belts. And I mean, Taya Valkyrie's got the belt, and I'm a big fan of Taya. So lots is happening, but I do think we won't see Deonna for a little bit after Under Siege now.
Yeah, I think she's also just gonna take some time off and probably go get married to her Mr. Steve Macklin, Mr. Champ. So I'm sure that that's what they're going to do. And, I agree that this show should have been number 1 because it was better than the other shows, especially the go home shows of the other people that were actually having the pay-per-view.
Yep, that's it. It's really confusing. Like Boss Monster says, no build up. Like again, there's no vibe. There's no oh my God, there's hatred between these people. It just feels like, oh, it's this guy's turn.
Also, speaking of Roman Reigns, there are some people online trying to spin a story that the Roman Reigns was talking in a dark segment and that he apparently was leaving the company. And I hate to tell you, but I listened and I watched the thing probably 50 times. You cannot understand what he says due to the reverb off of the microphone and the building. You can catch some words. I'm like, I can catch words. But most of it is very much thanking the crowd, saying how awesome he is because he's the tribal chief, and just being a humble Roman Reigns. He's thanking the company. He's not retiring or anything. People are trying to spin it like oh my God, he asked for his release, and he's like, pretty sure he just was grateful. I don't think being grateful means you're wanting a release.
Yeah, and people like to spin things, create rumors, and most of it's bullshit.
It's Roman Reigns. Why would the tribal chief just magically go away?
Yeah. So, yeah, unless he's not well again, but I really don't think that has anything to do with this, and people are insane. But Dynamite did end on a high note, and it rolled out number 1 back after. So we've only had 1 week where Dynamite wasn't the champion. This was kind of a soft week. AEW holds on. We'll see what next week holds coming out of Backlash. We had Under Siege last night. Double or Nothing's on the horizon. So only time will tell what is coming. So, yeah. So don't forget, folks, we are back tonight for WrestleMania Backlash. Let's Rumble podcast is out now. The ladies will be back tomorrow for the news. it doesn't stop, folks. The content keeps coming. We've been on for hours this weekend. We were on for hours last weekend, and lots of people are tuning in to watch and enjoy. So thank you so much for that. LJ, any thoughts on the rankings? Anything that you would change? Anything that you would, you didn't agree with?
Nope, I 100% agree with this ranking this week, and everybody can come back to the channel to watch have a wonderful watch party with us watching WrestleMania Backlash, because that's still a thing. And the source actually said didn't that already happen? And I said, unfortunately not. And
No.
the source replied, "Oh, they just talk about it so much. I assume they were referencing it, not promoting it."
Right? No kidding. And a lot of the matches we've already seen at said
Yeah.
WrestleMania. So I get where that would
So
happen.
that's the perception of it, but that's okay. If that's your perception too, you guys can come and hang out with us because it's going to be fun. But I know that me and KJ need to go get some food, some
Yes.
nourishment, and we can come back and have an awesome watch party with you guys.
That's it, folks. Don't forget, tonight we're going on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to roll through right to the end. It's going to be an interesting night. Let's hope they over deliver on what we expect. They did that on night one of WrestleMania. Let's hopefully the matches we get are good enough that we're happy with the product we get. Tune in, find out. For those who are new here, 7 days a week, we rock and roll. We got a whole fam. We're kicking every day of the week. We are for life. We do not stop. So tune in, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. You send 10 friends our way, we'll give you a t-shirt for it. So that being said, I do have to go get some dinner, and so do you. So folks,
Come
come
back
back
and
later.
see the fam for the watch party, because we got me, LJ, we got wonderful KJ, we got wonderful LJ. You don't know who else gonna pop up.
That's
So
it.
there's always people that are gonna pop up here, so you always gotta be ready to watch.
Bye for now.